and welcome. This is Race on Ice. This is the PC League. It's Monday night and it's season 1 of 2023. It is round 2 and this week we're at Donnington. It's going to be pretty exciting. This is kind of full circle for me. This is the first race I ever commentated on for Ruse. And here we are again. I don't think I've commentated on it ever since. So anyway, I hope you're all well. Hope you had a great start to the week. Hope you had a great weekend. We've got some great racing coming up for you very, very shortly. We've got a field of 30 cars tonight. So another absolutely phenomenal turnout. So well done to everyone. But let's just have a quick recap from last week. We'll put the standings up because that is essentially how they finished. So it was Andrew Lawrenson who took out victory last week. He had a great battle with Bruno Gallo, especially in the beginning of the race. Bruno put it on pole and Lawrenson followed him around for the majority of the race. And then it was Bruno Gallo who pulled the trigger early and decided he would be the first of the two to pit, which ended up working in Lawrenson's favour. And he stayed out and managed to hold the lead after the pit stops, and that is where he ended up. So he was in dominant form last week. So a little bit of housekeeping as well, just to on top of that. Last week he was racing for Gamesman Racing Team. There was a decision made during the week that he'll no longer be racing for the Gamesman Racing Team. He is going to be racing for Beyond Trophies. So that was a decision just to sort of even up the teams a little bit there after last week. So that is where just a small little housekeeping change there. Ethan Cale now last week, I thought this was this man's debut. He's a bit of a Ruse veteran, actually, also known as HSV. So by his gamer name, if you like, he came home a very, very solid third position. So that Mercedes of his did look splendid in the purple, white, and black livery as well. So great job from him to start the season. Nando Latanzio put on a phenomenal effort as well last week. So he came home there in P4. Then it was Anthony Cezanne P5. One of the calling cards of last week that all the classes were all decided within about the last 10 minutes of the race. So it was still all up for grabs all the way to the very end. And great racing, great action all the way through the full 60 minutes last week. Then Anthony Cezanne P5, Art Vanderlei came home in 6th position. Matt Frost finished there in 7th in the Ferrari. The Porsche of Glenn Stimson. James Pierre Reid nabbed 9th. And in 10th position, Nathan Harvey. I think James Pierre Reid just pipped him on the line last week. So nice work. That was the top 10 from last week. In terms of how the team's championship, that is unique, it's back again after last season. So Beyond Trophies, 215 points. So that is reflective of the move of Andrew Lawrenson to Beyond Trophies Racing. Bruce Hale Racing there in second on 204. Gamesman Racing Team 187. 148 to Ignition Controls Racing, sitting there in P4. P5, Pagnian Next Level on 135 points. And Selby Acoustics on 122 in 6th position. That is where the teams sit at the moment. One other little bit of housekeeping that I have to just go over was I made a mistake about the AM Championship. Where is my notes here? James Mack won the AM Championship last season and not Mark Hurley. So my apologies. That was brought up to me this week, and thank you very much. I think it was Crunch who brought that to my attention. So my apologies for that. It was James Mack won the AM Championship last season and not Mark Hurley. So my apologies there. I think that's about it for the housekeeping and whatnot. Notes from last week. We're less than a minute before this qualifying session gets started. If you have a look here, this is the track. So Donnington, part of the British DLC pack. Nice little circuit. Lots of flowing corners here. Elevation changes as well. Big heavy braking zones. Some nice hairpin turns. The S's in there in turn 9 as well. So, yeah, it's 11 or 12 corners, I guess, if you could call the S's 2 turns. If you do, that's 12. If not, it's 11. So, yeah, cool little track. We are about to get started very, very shortly. Let's have a look at the times. So there's Bruno Gallo once again sitting on top there in P1 of the qualifying practice session, a 1:25.750, and you can see the 3-letter abbreviations as well next to the driver's name. That does represent their the team that they're racing for. Also, we had some liveries missing last week. Unfortunately, we do again today. Andrew Lawrenson and who else was it? Cooley. I've not seen that name before, but I'm not going to make the same mistake that I made last week. Don't have his. And Kid, you got my livery this week. What's your real name? And I will double check that for you. Let you know what your real name is, or even just car number if you want to do that. I will make sure to see if I've got it. Should do.
Green light. Go, go, go.
And here we go. Everyone is out coming to get this qualifying session underway. Cars coming out onto the track. Is that Frost was going to lead them away? No, it's going to be number 14, Bruno Gallo. So he was the fastest in qualifying. Free practice. Sorry, my mistake. Who else? You'll also notice Joe is not with me again this week. He's got some work commitments at the moment. It's taking his time on a Monday night, so unable to make it again. But we'll battle on. Make sure that we put on the best possible show for you. And we'll talk about the race setup as well, unique to this season in terms of different pit formats for different races. Nathan Wilson. Looks like he's got that internet connection sorted out. I think that's what got him last week, so he's out there. Glenn Stimpson, good result for him last week. He'll be looking to capitalise on that. Adrian Rice was in some good battles. Terry Rayton is out there, so it's his first race for the season. Here's the man with the livery of the season so far. Herbertron out there as well. Neil Fakeney. Nando Latenzio isn't out there yet. Art Vanderlei is. Had a good result last week as well. Brooker is in there, but Bruno Gallo, where are you? He is about to begin the first flying lap. So he's flashing his lights, making sure the cars in the pits know that he's on his way through. Let's see what sort of time he can set here. Go on board, making his way through the Starkey Bridge, through 6 now, and turn 7, the right-hander. A little bit of oversteer there, just sliding the car ever so slightly. Does such a great job controlling this Porsche every week. It's his weapon of choice. And why wouldn't it be when you can drive it this well? Looking good so far. So 1:25.750 was the pace in free practice. Now coming to turn 10, the Melbourne hairpin for all those southeasterners, myself included. And then that's a right-hander hairpin, and it's going to be a left-handed hairpin for him next. And that'll be the final turn onto the start-finish line. Let's see what sort of time he sets here. A 1:26.150. Ethan Cale coming through. Van Vliet. Marsh is about to cross the line as well. So they'll all start to filter through. We'll get the first lot of them through, and then we'll have a look at times. James Pierre Reid He's a little bit off these guys right now. Where is Stockton? He was there. James Mack, I got your livery this week, James. Here's John Stockton in there. Masterson will come through. Just sort of filter through all of them as they make their way towards the line. But right now it's Bruno Gallo, 1:26.150. That's the best time so far. Andrew Lawrenson sitting there in P2. Should be on another lap here. He is up on his best time. Bruno Gallo just up ahead. Heather Russell in the chat cheering on her brother Paul. Had a great start to the race last week, but copped some damage there after an incident and had to disconnect. Like the subtle change in livery to Bruno Gallo as well this week. It's got like a sort of a watermark kind of vibe about it in the Porsche. Let's see where he shakes out. Does he beat his best time? He does. Andrew Lawrenson tucked in behind him. What can he do? He's 2/10 faster than his best time. Still good enough only for P2 right now. So Gallo and Lawrenson resumed battle from last week, 7 days ago, and they're both P1 and 2. This time it's Gallo ahead. He'll be hoping he can finish ahead this week. Here's Nathan Wilson just coming out of the right-hander, turn 10, the Melbourne hairpin in that Lamborghini. Currently sitting in P11, less than 10 minutes to go in this qualifying session. It's short and sharp. About Anthony Cesana after a great race last week. See if he can continue on with his good form. Goes up into P6. About Neil Fakeney moves into P13 there. Carlos Dominiak in the green BHR Honda for Bruce Hara Racing for the uninitiated. As he crosses the line, goes up into P18. We've got a Nissan in the field, everyone. Stephen Haycock. Haven't seen a Nissan for a fair while, so it is the car that he's driving tonight. So nice to see a very hefty spread of challenges out there. One of them belongs to Simeon Coco. Coming out of turn 10 now. Down in P26. So right now it's Gallo, Lawrenson, Cooley, Kale, Rice, Cesana. No, Rice, then Cesana. Reed, Stimson, M. Frost. That's your top 10. We're looking at Simeon Coco down in P26. Doesn't improve on his time. So that is where he will continue to find himself. What about Nathan Wilson in the BHR Lamborghini here? Completing another lap. He's down on his best time. James Pierre Reid is up on his best time right now. Currently sitting P8. I do like the subtle variations to the livery this week. James on there. Just if you weren't too sure who it is. Kind of like it. I like it that it's in it's spelled backwards for the mirror image. What happened to Adrian Rice? Where are you, Adrian? Hey, what's happened to him here? This is coming up through turn 3. That's Craner Corner. The car just got away from him a little bit. Yeah, onto the grass. And that was enough, I think, to just pull it up there before that got any worse. What about Bruno Gallo? Back to live pictures right now. He's up on his best time of a 1:26 flat. He goes a 1:25.7. So he is moving right now. Ethan Kale just set a faster time for him. He's up into P4. What about Van Vliet? Tried to get your livery in there, but for whatever reason it hasn't worked. He's P5, so my apologies for that. And for the viewers, this is Peter Wall. He's not going to improve on his time. Lawrenson is out there. He's just ramping up for a lap right now. While he's doing that, we'll have a look at Wally Masterson, P17. Doesn't improve on his time. That's where he will remain for now. James Mack, last season's AM Championship in the Audi. Very nice livery as well. I like this one, the Monster Energy kind of vibe about it. Doesn't improve. P24 for now. Who else is out there on a decent lap? James Pierre-Reid was. He's just coming, pardon me, sorry, through turn 11. He's up 4/10 on his best time. Goes up into P6, represented on the leaderboard. Glenn Stimson just putting in a very quietly solid, good effort right now. Glenn Stimson, currently the 555 Porsche, sitting in P12. He's 2/10 up on his best time. That might almost be enough to move himself up into P11. That would be Anthony Cesana in the Lamborghini that he's chasing down, and he does so. So he moves up into P11 with a tick under 6 minutes remaining. Matt Frost moves up into P8. Nice work from him. Here's Andrew Lawrenson, though. He's chasing down Bruno Gallo, who's out there setting himself up for a fast lap. In the meantime, we'll watch this man do his work. He's 4/10 slower than Bruno Gallo right now. So the BMW not quite finding its feet at this stage. Still 5.5 minutes, so a third of qualifying remaining. The 88 BMW, last week's race winner, our current championship leader and our reigning defending champion, Andrew Lawrenson, moved over to Beyond Trophies Racing this week. So it's a big boost for those guys. We're not going to have a repeat of last week's front row shutout for Gamesman Racing Team. Not looking like he's going to beat his best time right now for 1:26.1. Hit up a couple of tenths there under brakes, but he's lost that time, so he will not improve. Bruno Gallo is out there as well. He's about a tenth down off his best time. The good news for him, he is 4/10 up on Andrew Lawrenson. So at this stage, Lawrenson not a threat right now, but 4.5 minutes left. So he's ramping himself up for another one. As Stimson, P10, puts in another time there. What about Wally Masterson? He just seems to be in the flow right here. Coming into turn 10. Let's get to Nando Latenzio. He's just a couple of hundred meters up the road. So currently sitting P27 for Nando. So the Honda just familiarising itself now, P15. So nice work to him. What about Wilson? Does he improve on his best time? No, not enough to move himself up a position. Cesana, he's down on his best time. Gallo isn't on a hot lap. Neither is Lawrenson or Cooley. So the top three, not much doing from them right now. Time ticking away. Less than 4 minutes remaining. They're all chasing one man. Bruno Gallo, Lawrenson, Cooley, Cale, Russell up there as well. P5, Heather Russell. Pretty happy about that right now, watching her brother do his thing. Let's hope he can make it all the way through this evening, as in they think that might have been Cooley off in the background up there. As we follow Hildebrandt, no, not Hildebrandt, yeah, this is Hildebrandt in P18 right now. Gallo setting himself for another flying lap. We're a tick on 3 minutes left in qualifying. This is season 1 of 2023. And the S is there. That's cost him time. So he's 2/10 off his best right now. I'm seeing a lot of red. One name that has green next to it is this man here, Paul Russell. He's 4/10 off Ethan Cale in the Beyond Trophies Mercedes there, number 52. So although he will improve his best time, it's not enough to move up a spot. So right now he's in the top 5, so that's still pretty tidy position there. This is Marcus Van Vliet. He is minutely up on his best time. There he goes back into the red. So unfortunately for him, let's see if he can improve. It's yo-yoing up and down right now for me. Too many black cars on the screen. Got to get that sorted for next week. That is Cooley as well in the Aston Martin. Who else was out there? Adrian Rice, he's up by 4/10 on his best time and reflects in P7 right there. What about this man here, Nathan Wilson? He's about 6/10 up on his best time. That would be good enough to move him, maybe squeeze into the top 10 here. Just need to nail this last corner here through turn 11, the left-hander hairpin. Onto the front straight goes the Lamborghini up into P10. So nice work from him. Gallo is invalidated a lap there. He is down on his best time. Lawrenson still only a 10th up, which is not enough to catch Bruno Gallo right now. Time is fast running out. Less than a minute left. The 88 BMW's got to have one more go at it here. Once he crosses the line, he's about 300ths of a second up, so nowhere near enough time to make up and move himself up into P1. Saying that though, this is where he started last week and it ended out pretty well for him. So Gallo is in the pits, so he feels that his work is done. What about Cooley? The number 999 Aston Martin for Ignition Control Racing. He is good enough for a 26.2, but not good enough to move up the leaderboard. This man here, Paul Russell, in the Buzz and Hornets-esque livery as the clock goes 000. Paul Russell brings his Audi up towards the hard braking zone. Turn 9 and 10, the S's. No issues there for the Audi. Makes a small adjustment. Up a little bump, if you like, and then down the hill into the right-hander. Turn 10. Melbourne hairpin looking pretty tidy. Not necessarily reflected on the timing screen. I don't think he's going to beat his best time. He needs to improve by a lot more than that. Lawrenson's out. Lawrenson's done. So it's going to look like it is Bruno Gallo. He was going to start from pole position yet again. 2 poles in a row. Here's James Pierre Reid. And he is not going to improve on his time. He's the only car that's out there right now. And congratulations once again. Bruno Gallo has taken pole position again. That's number 2 for the season, a 1:25.732. Practice time was a 1:25.750. So he went faster in qualifying where it counts, and he finds himself on pole position. Andrew Lawrenson, 4/10 the gap. That is a big gap, and it's a pretty big gap across the top 10. 1.3, and look at that!
Right, we have some wind conditions.
Just like that, things change. Turn on a dime. We've got weather. It was set to randomness of, I think, 3 tonight. If I don't have it in my notes, but I did see that. I sort of had a bit of a thought. Like, well, maybe we might see some rain, given we're in a country that's pretty synonymous with it. We will be back very, very shortly. This one's going to be a pretty spicy start. We've got wet weather for round 2 of season 1 of 2023. We'll be back very, very shortly.
light, green light. Go, go, go. tail, but
oh. So just having some technical difficulties there, but got it all sorted, so apologies for that. Oh, this is Lawrenson manages to get his way past Kale. Just sorting out some sound issues there, but hopefully coming through loud and clear now. Managed to get it sorted out, so apologies for that. It's been a cracking start. Oh, we've got 83 off at the moment. Brooker, where is he? How did that come about? Down there in P26. Oh, we see just at the end of it, Powell was having some dramas as well. Back at, oh, and this is where these two crossed paths. Just go back to live action right now, and we've got Kale and Lawrenson. What happened to Paul? He had a drive-through penalty. I think he jumped the start, or maybe speeding at the start. So he copped the drive-through penalty at the beginning of the race there. So unfortunately, he had to serve that. He finds himself. Oh, what's going on with Adrian Rice? That's Callistomaniac. Don't know if they've had a little coming together. So Paul Russell down in P20 right now finds himself. Yeah, so unfortunate start for him. So back to the front though. This is Kale and Lawrenson. Froster's in there as well in the yellow and green Ferraris. You saw the plane just landing in the background there. That was kind of cool. And recently Lawrenson managed to get past Kale. They're all chasing this man here though. Bruno Gallo for the Gamesman Racing team. He's up there in P1, the number 14 Porsche. 4.2 seconds up the road from this man here, who's being chased down by Ethan Carl. So the top three, pretty much where they started to begin with. And you got Matt Frost in there as well, and James Pierre Reid. So after his P9 last week at the Hungaro ring, he's in P5 as Masterson, just having a little bit of an excursion there. Hildebrandt, he's chasing down Marsh right now. He had a rough race last week as well. Marsh, I think he was an early exit from memory. Might have had a bit of an issue at turn 4 last week. That's Nathan Wilson in the background as well there for Bruce Hale Racing. So they're down there in 13th, 14th and 15th, looking from the rear of Hildebrandt. These three as they go up through Craner Corner. Up through the hill. Oh, he runs a little bit wide there, Marsh. And has he given away another position to Wilson? I think he has, yeah. So loses 2 spots there, Marsh. Unfortunately for him. Down there in P15 right now. The gap between Kale and Frost is starting to close up as well. As we go back to the front of the field. There, P4 with Matt Frost, Ethan Kale. So it's 0.7 of a second separating those two. Plenty of action going on throughout the field. I think something's happened to Johnstone. He's down there in P30. So not having a good run of it at the moment. These 3 cars are together. There's Cesana just in the foreground as well. Van Vliet, Vanderlei and Hildebrandt. We saw these guys battling out before as well. So they're they're down there 11th, 12th, 13th. Van Vliet in there. Going up through turn 4. The old hairpin is referred to. He's got to get that done, almost. Not quite. So they're going to continue it on through Coppice. So this is down in 10th, 11th and 12th. This is still all up for grabs right now. Looking from the bonnet, Van Vliet. Susanna's looking to make a move here as well. Have a look at this. All 4 cars jockeying for the same piece of real estate. Look at Vanderlei just making a move up the inside there as well. Just trying to take a little, take an opportunity. Still battling. Oh no, so that was Susanna. Just ran a little bit wide. And that opens it up for the other guys to slip through. That was the car just sitting there. I think that was Brooker for in the P&L Mercedes. This is great stuff. Out in front, it's 5.2 seconds the gap. Between Gallo and Lawrenson. Track's still damp. So as mentioned, there is a mandatory tyre stop. There's no refueling, so it's full tanks out there, and that Van Vliet 424 Mercedes for GRT sliding around all over the place right now. He's got his hands full with Vanderlei behind him, and then he's got Fakeney in front of him, who he's chasing down for position right now. What can he do? Is he able to maybe send it up the inside into the hairpin? Not quite right now. There's Vanderlei right with him in the Bentley. Susanna just looking to reattach himself to this group ahead. And Gallo is in the pits. So Bruno Gallo makes the stop. I don't know if that's strategy or if he's... Yeah, he's just having a look at race times. His last was a 1:33. His best is a 32. So it doesn't look like he's had any dramas. Track is damp. It looks like there's more weather on the way in about half an hour as well. So that is going to be super interesting to see as he falls down the timing ladder. And there's Paul Russell as well making his stop too. So 16 and a half minutes into this one. Looking like it's a popular time to make the stop. 44-minute pit window. You can see it is open. 35 and a half minutes remaining in that window. But so it's Lawrenson. It's a repeat of last week. Gallo made the early call, and then Lawrenson followed suit not long after. These guys still scrapping it out. Van Vliet, Fakeney and Vanderlei. This is all to play for as they come through the S's there. This is great stuff. Heavy braking zone into turn 10, the hairpin. And Vanderlei just trying to get the run out of there. Looks like the rain has stopped for now. I don't see the window wipers going as furiously as before. Let's see if we can get an on board to confirm that. There you go. These two continue fighting for position. Vanderlei just up the inside there. So Fakeney drops one. He's going to have to hold on tight here to see if he doesn't drop two. He does. So Susanna makes it through as well. So it's Cezanna's turn to take a little bit of good fortune. In the meantime, Lawrenson is the leader. Cale in second, 1.1 seconds behind. James Pierre Reid as well in P3, so having a good race for him. Cars that have stopped though. Bruno Gallo has stopped. What's happened to Heath Scotland? Not Heath Scotland. Harley Scotland. He's been in the wars a little bit today. He's down there in P27. So a few other cars in the pits right now. We've got some great action on track here. This is Cezanna, Fakeney. What about Rice? Oh, he's going around. Let's see how he got to that position. Oh, looks like he's already got a little bit of damage there to the front of the car. And he's still looking all right for now. Oh, just that over the little hill, lost the back end, and away you go. So unfortunate for him. If we go back to live pictures. Oh, this is with Frost. That's Matt Frost. He was he was in part of the leading pack as well. Oh no, that's a terrible outcome for him. Let's see how that came together. So I think this was for position, but Frost was definitely the faster car and then just made contact, and that was at the S's. Oh, Frost almost saved it, but not enough, unfortunately for him. And we're back to live pictures now. So Frost down there in P17 at the moment. So terrible stroke of luck for him. Vanderlei looks like he has dropped a spot. Fakeney and Cezanna are through there. So something's happened between those three down there in 7th, 8th and 9th. But race starting to settle into a rhythm. We have a look at Fakeney. So Bruno Gallo came out in P12 right now, and Lawrenson is in the pit. So is Ethan Cale. So here we go. Pit stop time for Bruno Gallo was a 55 seconds total pit time. So mandatory tyre stop. Fuel is not prohibited, so no refueling. Where's Gallo? He's just coming through turn 10 now. You can see dry line starting to appear. Where are we? There's Lawrence trying to catch up with him there. Here's Gallo again. Lawrenson's been in there for 38 seconds. Gallo again. I think Gallo's going to do this. He's going to go through and retake the net lead. And Ethan Cale almost in perfect sync with Lawrenson, managed to take off as well. So those two will remain comrades on track for now. But Bruno Gallo has managed to take the early stop and work it to his advantage. The only question is now there's 30 minutes, saying there's some scheduled rain in about 30 minutes. Track is greasy for now. And yeah, that would be with about 8 and a bit minutes left if the rain does arrive in 30 minutes. So we'll see if that does pan out as forecasted. But for now, the top 9 have all not pitted. Hence why they are in the top 9. So Bruno Gallo is your net leader. Lawrence and Cale, Terry Rayton in there. Frost, despite the little tangle there with Adrian Rice, finds himself still in a very competitive position. What about James Pierre Reid? He's leading the race. He is yet to pit. And here's a few more guys coming in there now. Cezanna for BTR and Neil Fakeney, as well as Art Vanderlei as well. Here's Matt Frost. He's got a fellow Ferrari driver, Terry Rayton, just ahead of him. Seen plenty of action already in this hairpin as Gallo vaults himself up the leaderboard there, and Frost gets done there, so he moves up a spot. And he finds himself there in P13 right now, the 666 in P13. The gap between Bruno Gallo and Andrew Lawrenson is at 7.2 seconds at the moment. So that's the gap between those two. So Bruno Gallo, the red dot on the track map, and Andrew Lawrenson, the other red dot now. So just coming out of turn 8. So it's almost about the length of Starkey Straight is the gap right now between Lawrenson and Gallo. Stimson coming. No, this is James Pierre Reid. So essentially our race leader coming in there. Bruno Gallo just manages to get past Peter Wall. Peter Wall's yet to pit. And Gallo feeling very, very comfortable. The first driver to drop into the 131s. Oh, Hildebrand. Oh, he's into the wall there. Let's see what happened. Track is greasy. So the rain has essentially stopped. I'm just seeing... Oh, he's just got onto the wet stuff and then bang. Not a bad landing there. So it's all right. We're back to live pictures. So Vanderlei on the rear bumper of Simeon Coco. So that's 13th and 14th. All starting to shake out right now. We're just waiting on Glenn Stimson to pit. He's our current race leader. Nando Latenzio in P2. Still got the window wipers going right now. Glenn Stimson, full concentration. Doesn't want to take his eyes off the road for a second to turn them off right now. Let's have a look at some of the other scraps out there. Frost and Rayton, they swapped positions not long ago. Van Vliet and Fakeney. Bruno Gallo sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:30.5. Other cars circulating in the 30s are Ethan Cale as well, as Nando Latenzio comes into the pits. So we'll just be waiting on Peter Wall and Glenn Stimson. Pit window is still 26 minutes before it closes, so plenty of time. There's a 44-minute pit window tonight, as it was, I believe, last week. No refueling, mandatory tyre set stops tonight. Just having a look for where the action is on track. These are the two closest cars out there, Terry Rayton and Matt Frost. Race has really settled down. We're approaching the halfway mark. I'm still expecting a little bit more rain right towards the end of this one. But in the meantime, track conditions are faring a lot better, a lot more positive than they were in the beginning of this one. But it's really spread the field out. Might just do a quick little class update as well. Peter Wall, he is P1 right now for the silver class. But he's yet to make his pit stop. He and Glenn Stimson are the only two that are yet to pit, and that's Andrew Lawrenson just coming through. So Ethan Cale won't be too far behind as well, and he is currently sitting in P2 right now of silver class. So we're looking at the race on track. The orange McLaren for the Selby Acoustics Racing Team, Peter Wall, the number 17 McLaren, being hunted down by this man here, Ethan Cale. And then third in class in the silver class is Anthony Cesano, who's currently P9 outright right now in the Beyond Trophies Racing Lamborghini, the number 40. In terms of the AM class, it's Herbertron leading from James Mack, leading from Dylan Powell. They're down in 24th, 25th and 26th outright right now. And the other AM driver they have with them is Johnston down there in P27. We've lost 3. So just having a quick scan through. Paul Russell's still here. Nathan Wilson's still here. So we've lost 3. Not too sure which 3. But it is 3 at this stage. As Peter Wall. Alright, you Peter Wall. You're still through here. P5 right now. So Ethan Cale manages to get past. He takes the lead of the silver class. And this man here is currently sitting P2 right now. Van Vliet all over the back of Neil Fakeney. We're looking from the rear of the Lamborghini, the Ignition Controls Racing Lamborghini. Approaching 10, 9 and 10. Having a look at times. Lawrenson has done a 29 flat. That's the fastest lap of the race. The only driver to get even that far deep into the 29s. The closest to that's a 29.5 to Gallo. So the BMW starting to like the conditions a little bit more than it did earlier in the race. He's 5.5 seconds, 5.4 now behind Gallo, who is essentially our net leader of the race. Once Glenn Stimpson pits, Gallo will then take the lead, and he'll be looking to do that and hold on to it. Last week wasn't able to take home the victory. Lawrenson was able to do that, so hopefully for Bruno Gallo, he would be thinking fortunes can reverse and he can take out race victory in round number 2. But we're only at the halfway mark right now, so plenty left still to do. We've got a stop-go penalty for car number 93. That's Dylan Powell, so we'll have to serve the stop-go penalty for 30 seconds. Tanzio back to this action as well. Glenn Stimpson pits, so our race leader comes into the pits. It'll be one of 2 cars remaining to make their pit stop. We'll fall down the timetables. We'll see where he comes out as we watch Marcus Van Vliet once again having a go. Oh, a little bit of... Can he break a little bit of traction there? He's got Art Vanderlei just tucked in behind him. That was someone else making their pit stop. That was Herbertron in the number 512 McLaren for Gamesman Racing Team. Currently sitting P2 in class. And Stimpson has come out in P10, so nice work from him. Where did he start? He started P12. So in terms of movers and shakers, Peter Wall hasn't made his stop, so he's up 9. James Pierre Reid's up 2. Terry Rayton's up 4. Anthony Cesana is up 6. Latanzio is up 7. Vanderlei's up 6. Drivers that have lost the most. Cooley, he started in the pits, so he's down there in P14. He started, he qualified P3. Nathan Wilson's dropped a heap of spots as well. He started P10. He's currently P17 at the moment. So there's a bit of an idea on movers and shakers, risers and fallers, as this is Latanzio and Cesana. So they're battling it out for P8 and P9. Latanzio was about 0.6 of a second faster on that last lap. See, easy. Closes right on the back there of Cesana. Peter Wall continues out there. He drops a spot to James Pierre Reid, who moves up into P4. So a nice run, good start to the season for James Pierre Reid. Good in the Mercedes for Selby Acoustics Racing. As Latanzio is sending that Honda through 4 and 5 up the hill towards 7, which is McLean's, the right-hander. Another little rise in the road for turn 8, which is Coppice. as Bruno Gallo just sets the fastest time of the race. A 1:28.3, but then is instantaneously beaten by Lawrenson. So this is starting to heat up a little bit right now. I'll just watch this little scrap here play itself out. But Gallo, last lap around, did a 1:28.3. Lawrenson did a 1:27.7. It's 0.4 of a second. The difference is Peter Wall finally pits. 18.5 minutes left on the pit window. So well within the limit. As Latenzio continues to try and hunt down the Lamborghini of Cesana. But the gap between Lawrenson and Gallo is at 3.7 seconds. And starting to close up. Still 26 minutes left in this one. Rain expected within the next 10 minutes or so right now. So that could spice things up even further. There was a mandatory tyre stop to make. No refueling tonight. And yeah, it's provided some pretty good racing so far. 3.3 seconds. What lap time does Lawrenson do around? Gallo will cross the line first. See if he can respond to 27.947. What does Lawrenson do? A 27.485. The gap is at 3.4 seconds. He sets another fastest lap of the race. This is really heating up at the front right now. 3.3 seconds is the gap. Can he see Gallo? Not necessarily. Might see some glimpses every now and then. But right now, this is the man he's chasing. This is the rear view mirror view from Gallo. You can see just the changes in his livery this week. Just the little additions there. Almost like watermarks. So he gets past the Nissan. Belongs to Stephen Haycock, just getting out of the way. Lap traffic right now. So I'll keep an eye on that. In terms of on-track action, we've got Cesana leading Latenzio and Stimpson. So 7th, 8th and 9th. 7th and 8th are battling it out for the class podium right now. So they are... yes, Cesana 2nd, Latenzio 3rd. That's the podium, along with Ethan Cale, who's up there in P3. Keep an eye on lap times as well. Gallo's just done a 1:28.175. Oh, that's Stimpson. Getting a little bit loose there through the S's. So Lawrenson has just done a 27.3, continues to pump in. Fastest laps of the race as Stimpson sends it down the inside at turn 10. So nice work from him. He moves up a position into P8. So he's splitting the podium right now for the silver class. Nice work from him. But this man here, Andrew Lawrenson, continues to hunt down the gap. Now at 2.4 seconds. Just making his way up towards some lap traffic. Stephen Haycock once again doing a good job just getting out of the way there, letting Lawrenson through. Never an easy task when you see the faster guys coming through, but he's handled that pretty well. Haycock down there in P20 right now, and that's 37. That's Wally Masterson just moving over for Lawrenson to come through. Let's see what lap this man does now. Bruno Gallo. You'll see the gap starting to fall down. He does a 1:27.760. And Lawrenson does a 1:27.5. So 2.4 seconds now is the gap separating P1 and P2. Bruno Gallo has got a fight on his hands right now. We're expecting more rain to finish out this one. So that's going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons once again. And Gallo has started to at least come within similar pace to Lawrenson. So can he stabilise the gap That's going to be the question. And then it might be also a question of bravery on whether you make a call for fresh tyres if it rains enough. Track's at optimum conditions right now, so that's still a whiles away. I don't see any window wipers going. So track at full optimum conditions, and Lawrenson is very much enjoying them. We have a little bit of a scrap down here in P11 and 12. That's Vanderlei going to put the move on Van Vliet. That's 11th and 12th right now. Tanzio and Stimson still close together. Just trying to keep an eye on lap times. Bruno Gallo comes around. He does a 27.4. Lawrenson does a 27.457. So the gap in pace has dramatically reduced and it's become a lot more even now. So Lawrenson, his charge is going to have to just get turned up a couple of notches if he wants to start making some progress in the final third of this one. Just to tick over 20 minutes remaining in round 2. This is kicking off season 1 of 2023. And so far, we've had a pretty entertaining race. It started wet. Stimson looking to put a move on Cesana. There's a few other cars back, 4 of them in fact. Van Vliet, Vanderlei, Cooley is in there. Russell is a little bit further back from this group. These guys have been going at it for a big chunk of this race. Terry Rayton just starting to make a little bit more ground up on Matt Frost. Those two have been tied together for a fair chunk of this one as well. We saw Matt Frost just have a little touch with Adrian Rice. We've seen the sparks flying as they make their way through the S's. The 2 Ferraris, one for BHR belonging to Matt Frost, the other for Selby Acoustics. As they continue to travel around back to this group of 4 right here. That's Fakeney, Van Vliet, Vanderlei and Cooley in there. Once again, apologies for the liveries. Didn't quite come through again this week, so we'll try and get that sorted 100% for next week. Oh, this is looking very juicy into turn 10. Vanderlei there in the liveried car, P12. Van Vliet in front of him, Cooley behind. He's trying to make up some ground. And we've got a few other guys that are pretty close to one another, Stimson and Cesana, as they go into turn 1, and Rayton and Frost. So we've got a few little battles starting to percolate along. But in saying that, speaking of percolating, this man here, Andrew Lawrenson, just did a 127.465. Bruno Gallo did a 128 flat, so the gap is now 1.8 seconds, and you can see Bruno Gallo in the foreground there. We've got 18 minutes and change remaining. Rain is expected. It's forecast to be on the way. Bruno Gallo's got the lights ablaze. Andrew Lawrenson hunting him down. He's got 18 minutes to turn this series into a 2 for 2. Last week it was P1 at the Hungaroring. Did I see? Oh, I thought I saw a window wiper. Oh, there is rain. There you go. So right now, our forecast is for more rain for at least the next 30 minutes. So this race looks like it is going to finish under wet conditions. Gallo seemed to enjoy the wet conditions more than Lawrenson, so the Porsche feeling a little bit more at home. Terry Rayton's gone the early call, so we can see the speed limit there. Someone's taken out the speed limit sign. He's decided it's time for a pit stop. What's Gallo going to do? This rain doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere. That's going to be the big one, as he's coming in through 9 and 10, so he's almost at the end of the lap. There's Lawrenson giving chase in the background. Dominiak's throwing caution to the wind. He's decided to stop as well. We'll follow these guys all the way around. That was Nathan Milson just up there in the foreground. He was chasing down Hildebrand in P15 and 16. And Gallo, is he going to come in? Doesn't look like it. No, he doesn't. Neither does Lawrenson. What about Ethan Cale? Does he decide to be a contrarian and pit in as well? And it looks like he is. He is. All right, so the other two are going to risk it. Lawrenson and Gallo, they'll continue on. Fakeney and Van Vliet. Van Vliet manages to get past, so he takes P10. The risk factor is just getting turned up a couple of notches here right now. So with the rain falling, the track getting wetter and wetter. Currently it's gone from optimum to greasy. Where did Terry Rayton filter out? P14. So just keep an eye on that. Look at these four guys going at it through turn 10. Oh, we've got a spinner. That looked like it was car number 10. Who is that? Oh, that's Johnston down in P26. Keep our eyes on the action here. Cale still in the pits by the looks of things. Off he goes. So he'll come out around about P12 by the looks of it. Yep. So he pitted from P3. Andrew Lawrenson within half a second of Bruno Gallo. These two are going to have to pit at some stage. Looking at the weather forecast right now, are they going to continue to gamble and stay out there? We'll have a look at lap times. They did a 29 and a 28 respectively, and I think that's Gallo in the pits. It is. So Gallo's decided he's going to pit early again. This worked for him at the start of the race. It didn't work for him last week. Lawrenson is going to stay out, so Gallo, well, that's not really an indicative time. Lawrenson did a 130.9 that last lap around, so still relatively alright. Track continues to be greasy. This is Cooley trying to get past the Bentley of Art Vanderlei. This is 10th and 11th. 11th Cooley, 10th Vanderlei. And is he going to get past? I think he is. Yes, I think he does it. Nice move there. Oh, our Vanderlei sends it up the inside of turn 10, so he braked a little bit too deep there. So Pierre Reid making his way into the pits. So is Frost. He's in there. Bruno Gallo is up and running, and he's going to come out just behind Glenn Stimpson, who's sitting there in P3 right now. This is Porsche on Porsche battle here. He'll have the wet tyres on, no doubt. Just a tick under 14 minutes left. Where's Lawrenson? Lawrenson's just coming out of the turn 10 hairpin. Coming to the final turn now. This lap would be probably mid-30s. There we go. He's into the pits. So the battle is on once again. This man, Bruno Gallo, let's follow him along. He's got Stimpson in front of him. This is 4th position. So they're battling it out here for P3 and P4. They're going to go side by side here into the S's, and in the end Gallo manages to just cruise past Stimpson there relatively easy given the tyre advantage that he has, the wet tyres. You saw the big snap of oversteer that Stimpson got out of there. Now he comes up to a whole bunch of traffic. That's Herbertron, John Stockton. I think that's Anthony Cesana in there as well. Lawrenson, that's him stationary in the pits. This is Bruno Gallo. Will he retake the lead? Some scrap going on there behind him. Oh, Lawrenson coming out. He's going to be side by side. Who's that? That's a Honda. Is that Latenzio? I think maybe. Gallo. And there it is. So Lawrenson, this time, the pit stop has worked in his favour, just like it did last week. Andrew Lawrenson now leads the race from Bruno Gallo. And I'm still just trying to work out, the timing screen will sort itself out, of Nando Latenzio. I don't know if he's recently pitted or not by the looks of those, by the grip level that he has. They look like they could possibly be dry tyres. And Gallo now finds himself been the hunter. 12 minutes left in this one. Andrew Lawrenson leading the way. Can he make it 2 from 2? He's played the pit strategy perfectly. He's stayed out a little bit longer. 1 or 2 laps longer than Bruno Gallo, and it looks like it's paid off. Terry Rayton went early with his pit stop. That's worked out for him. He's gotten ahead of Matt Frost there. So nice work from him. And Ethan Cale went relatively early as well. He's currently sitting P5. And I reckon the 2 cars in front of him, Stimson and Van Vliet, haven't pitted yet. So they will need to either make their way into the pits very, very shortly, or they might just want to try and trudge on to the end here and hope the weather turns into their favour once again. Yeah, a little bit of weather. It's definitely throwing some spice into this one. As Cale gets past Van Vliet. Vanderlei and Latenzio pretty close on circuit there in 13th and 14th. But right now, this is Bruno Gallo. That's the car that he's hunting down. Is stepping between him and victory in round number 2. The number 14 Porsche. It's the view from the wheel. Bruno Gallo. The car up ahead is the difference between him and victory right now is Pierre Reid. Looks like he manages to get the job done on Paul Russell, who's managed to fight back pretty gallantly as well. Latenzio, he's putting the move on as well. That's into turn 11, goes deep under brakes. Can Fakeney fight back? I don't think he can, and looks like Latenzio is going to take that one away from him, so he'll move up to P12. That's the podium P2 and P3 right now in the silver class. But it's this man here, Bruno Gallo, hunting down Andrew Lawrenson. We'll have a look at what the times are once they cross the line. Will give us a pretty good indication. A 32.5, a 32.6 to Gallo, so a tenth slower than Lawrenson. I feel like the BMW just took a little bit of time to warm up to this track, but once Lawrenson was able to get it in the sweet spot, it's been all systems go, and it's all gone all wrong for Paul Russell. Does a little flick turn. Let's see how that came about. Under brakes into turn 10. And is he just... Oh, that's pretty harsh, isn't it? Man, no luck at all. If he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck. At the moment, Paul Russell. So, back to live pictures. This is Ethan Cale. He's currently sitting P4. That's Glenn Stimson up ahead of him. I reckon Glenn Stimson's decided he's just going to battle on to the end here. I don't think that's going to work out very well for him in terms of challenging for a podium at 36.4. That last lap around 3 seconds faster was Ethan Cale, and you can see a living, working example of that right there as Ethan Cale moves back into podium contention. P3 right now, leader of the silver class. He's driven once again a strong race, so returning to Roos after a season off, and yeah, back with a bang so far. P3 last week, and he's looking on track to repeat that with just on 8 minutes remaining.
The window is now closed
As the pit window slams shut, but everyone's managed to get in there without any dramas. This is Paul Russell coming under attack from Anthony Cesana. And Cesana looks like he's going to be able to just slip through there at the S's. Russell will no doubt try and come back there, but Anthony Cesana moves himself up into a top 10 finish at this stage. Bruno Gallo just has closed up the gap ever so slightly. It was at half a second, but then drifted back out to 1 second at the moment. Oh, who was that? That was the Audi. I think that was James Mack, actually. He managed to collect that. Let's see if we can see a replay. See if it was him. I might have gone on the wrong one. Have I? I think I have. Oh, no, there it is. Just a bit of drifting from James Mack. Nice work from him. As we go back to live pictures, 3, 2, 1. We're back again. We're back with Gallo. The gap, less than a second. You don't need me to tell you what it is. You can physically see it on the screen. Let's see what lap time Lawrenson does around now. 32.4, 31.9 to Bruno Gallo. So half a second faster. 6.5 minutes left. This is to decide victory for round number 2, season 1 of 2023. It's the Monday night Race on Oz PC League. Hope you've been enjoying the stream. Been a cracker of a race. That's not car number 10. That's Johnston just getting himself out of the way. And no dramas for these two. So first and second on track here. Two of the closest cars on the track actually out of the field of 27. Started with 30. So having only lost 3 given the conditions, I think is a fantastic effort. So awesome to everyone who has continued to battle on despite the conditions. And Gallo now rearing up on the rear wing of that BMW belonging to his ex-teammate Andrew Lawrenson, making the swap over to Beyond Trophies Racing this week. He's looking to kick it off with a victory as well. Bruno Gallo wants to spoil the party. So come around for another lap. So this is going to start to play into their running in about 1 minute 30s at the moment. We've got 5 minutes remaining, so maybe another 3 laps left at this stage. As Gallo following him through. Track is damp. Definitely raining. And looks like this weather is not going to go anywhere. So we're not going to have a late occurrence of any dry conditions. We've already seen that. That was the best it was going to get. And now Lawrenson needs to hold off a fast charging Bruno Gallo. His last lap around did a 1:31.9. It was 2/10 slower than Bruno Gallo. Gallo did, the 31.9. Lawrenson the 32.1. As they make their way up Starkey Straight into the hard braking zone of 9 and 10. The S's. No sliding through there this time for Gallo. He's trying to keep himself nice and cool, calm and composed. We go on board with him here. Oh, does Lawrenson run a little bit deep there? Under brakes. Almost offering just a tease to Gallo. Maybe 2 more laps left, possibly 3 if they get a little bit unlucky. In terms of time, it's going to be pretty tight at this stage. So 3 minutes and 20 odd seconds remaining. This is the battle for P1 and P2. Lawrenson and Gallo. It was Gallo who took the pole position with a lightning time of 1:25.7. That was the fastest times that we saw. It was all dry conditions. Race started wet. Went dry after about 20 minutes, and then we had roughly about 20 odd minutes of dry running, and then the rain returned, and here we are with less than 3 minutes left. The gap is less than half a second. Oh, that is Powell down there in P26 in the number 93 McLaren. Last lap around. Terry Rayton looks like he's made a move on Cooley. So he moves up into P7. He's having a great debut race, season debut for Terry Rayton. In the meantime, that last lap around a 32.4 to Lawrenson, a 32.3 to Gallo. So a tenth the difference, and that's what we're down to right now. Brass tacks. Just to tick over half a second the gap between the Gamesman Racing Team Porsche, the number 14, belonging to Bruno Gallo. Lawrenson, they're going to have to do 2 more laps here. So that will not be what Lawrenson wanted to hear. But they've been circulating the 1 minute 30s. Almost identical lap times that last one around. So virtually nothing in it between these two to take out victory. Coming right down to the wire. In terms of the other classes, James Mack leading the way for AM, Herbitron and Dylan Powell. And then for the silver class, it's Ethan Cale. Oh, what happened to Matt Frost? Matt Frost and John Stockton come together at turn 10. So, unfortunate for him. Don't think that will be enough to lose position. So Frost should hold on to a top 10 finish as he passes Cooley there. But this is the battle at the front. They're going to have to do 1 more lap after this. Come through the S's. Gallo just giving it absolutely everything. You can see him hacksawing at the wheel, trying to keep the Porsche under control. A tough task at the best of times, let alone given the wet conditions that face him right here. Putting as much pressure on Andrew Lawrenson as he possibly can. I think that's Peter Ward just getting out of the way. Paul Russell up ahead as well. This is going to be the final lap of the race. There it is. We've got the official announcement. And this is it. He's got 12 turns. 11 if you classify the S's as 1 turn to get this done. Andrew Lawrenson, can he hold on? This has been hard fought for either of these guys. Been a stunning race from both of them. Been tied together from the very start. I think they're separated by about 4 tenths in qualifying. Gallo just got a little bit untidy out at turn 5. Might have even dipped a wheel onto the grass to unsettle that Porsche. 7 tenths the difference. That's massive given the context to this race. So come through turn 8 for the final time. Lawrenson doing his absolute best. He's only a handful of turns away from completing a 2 for 2 clean sweep to start season 1 of 2023. Come up to the final hard braking zone of turn 10. And if he makes it through there, you'd have to think that he is looking extremely good right now. Andrew Lawrenson, 1 more turn to navigate. And he will take victory here and will make it 2 from 2. He's a new team member of Beyond Trophies and it could not have been started any better. Well done. Andrew Lawrenson takes victory in round number 2 for Race on Oz PC League. Bruno Gallo comes home in a very, very well-earned P2. Well done to Bruno Gallo for Gamesman Racing Team. The ex-teammates there sharing a bit of congratulations with one another. Well done to both of them. Ethan Cale coming across the line, sliding across the line in P3. So he's 2nd, 3rd position. It's a big welcome back from him. Back to Ruse Racing. This is Glenn Stimpson. It's Nathan Wilson with him, but not for positions. So well done to Glenn Stimpson. He battled through that. I don't think he pitted again. He's going to come home in P4. James Pierre Reid with a slight change to the livery, P5. Terry Rayton, hey, not too sure if that, I think that might have been Marcus Van Vliet. It is. Who's come home P7. So Rayton, Frost will be wondering what is going on here. So he's going to come across the line in P8. Well done to Matt Frost. Donuts happening in the background. This is Cooley for the Aston Martin. He was just here for the memes. Came here P9. Started the qualified 3rd. Started from the pits. Anthony Cesana rounds out the top 10. So class victory to silver is Ethan Cale. Anthony Cesana 2nd. And Nando Latenzio rounds out the podium in outright P11. In terms of the podium for AM, it's James Mack, 21st outright. Herbitron there in 23rd. And Dylan Powell, 25th. But once again, congratulations to Andrew Lawrenson, who takes out victory, makes it 2 from 2 to start the season. So great effort from him. Bruno Gallo in P2, and Ethan Cale rounding out the podium for the outright, and he is the silver class winner with Anthony Sarzana second and Nando Latenzio in third. So there you have it, everyone. That is round 2 in the books. We're all done here. Sorry for the technical difficulties with the sound at the beginning of the race, but once we got that sorted, it was all good. So thanks everyone for watching. Next week we are off to Watkins Glen, so round 3 to be 90-minute enduro, and then we'll take our first break of the season after then. So until then, everyone, I hope you enjoyed tonight. Great work, Andrew Lawrenson, Bruno Gallo, Ethan Cale. That was your podium outright. That's round 2 in the books. Have a great weekend, have a great rest of the week. Stay safe, take care of yourself. My name's Nick. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.